You never know when you might be involved in an accident, so please put my number in your phone, 312-6-million. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
Peters, James, and Peters is on a heater. In his last 15 games, Tristan Peters is 20 for 43. I mean, he's almost hitting 500 in his last 15 games with only 3 walks and only 3 strikeouts. So it's a lot of balls in play. And what I'm noticing, James, watching Peters and his at-bats, to me, he's swinging with a lot more confidence than we saw from how this season started for Peters, where it looked like sometimes he was just trying to put the ball in play or try to bunt for a hit. Now he's starting to hit the ball with more authority, picking up the doubles, which has been a huge benefit to the White Sox lineup. In a season of surprises, James, where does Tristan Peters' season in 2026 stack up?
Pretty surprising since before the late flurry in the offseason, and trying to talk to White Sox people about their new hitters, it was kind of like a lot of talking about Murakami, and then Everson Barrera, got a plan for him. Who's this scrolling down, checks notes, Tristan Peters person, and getting some generic answers about like, well, we value contact ability and plate discipline, so we'll build a plan for him as he comes in spring training. Not like, yeah, this is going to be our starting center fielder or anything like that. I think he snuck up on everyone in that regard to a great degree. And it's funny, like he talking to Tristan about it, he said like his opening message when they were expressing confidence in him was a lot of it was about defense. And he's obviously, that's a big part of like why he's kind of a baseline good person to put in a lineup for a good starter, even if some of this, the clear regression signs in his offense, come to pass, like 375 BABIP and stuff like that, and swing decisions. But ironically, one of the things that is kind of been off from is he's chasing a great deal, and I think that was something that was a little off for him at the start of the season, but still is kind of there in his game. He'll expand sometimes, but the contact rate's been really great. I felt like Sunday was another example of like you see him like get into one, and he certainly is making hard contact a lot more often, but like seeming like he gets into makes a square contact as you can imagine, and it hits off the top of the wall still somehow. Like the power that he's worked to add, like it's there, and he's not seemingly getting the full rewards from it just yet, but certainly the contact ability has been sticky enough where if he is, per outs above average, an above average center fielder, or at least top 10 in the sport, and he is making as much contact as he is, even if like his approach needs to narrow down a little bit when, he's not getting the bloop doubles falling in the way he did on Sunday. It's kind of like the bones of a good starting center fielder, is certainly a good placeholder for the foreseeable future, since, even asking about Brady Montgomery to Chris Getz in Minnesota, he was like, yeah, he's playing out there in center, but we see him being a corner guy long term in any meaningful way. So I think center field's still pretty wide open for years to come, until we have a broader reshuffling of what the options are. That if you can make a lot of contact, put balls in play, run the bases as well as Tristan Peters does, and plays defense, you can you can have this role for a while, even if you don't hit over 500, which he has for the last 11 games. Even though Josh conspired to find a split that makes him look worse, he's there's really no downplaying for how hot he's been right now. So I think he's taking a claim to that spot that didn't seem that open to him at the start of the year, but certainly wasn't fortified, and now he's running and take it.
So the beginning of this season, Jim, I thought we could be watching the worst outfield in White Sox history, especially in the last 25 years. And what's amazing about Tristan Peters' season so far is that if you go to fangraphs.com, this is before Sunday's update, so it might be higher. But Tristan Peters, Jim, was already at 1.7 WAR, and the White Sox center field collective as a team is at 1.4 WAR. They're already outpacing last year's center field production. If you told me before the season started that don't worry about missing Luis Robert Jr., Josh, because Tristan Peters is going to come in and outproduce Luis Robert, I would have never believed you. But this is where we are, Jim.
Well, I'm definitely not somebody who had to look up multiple times when writing about them which one was Tristan Peters and which one was Tanner Murray. Definitely did not have that problem. Definitely did not almost publish posts conflating the two. So yeah, I had confidence in him all along. But when you look at the rookie leaderboard, like top three in the American League, McGonigal, Murakami, Peters, like that's
Wow.
pretty, yeah, at least in Fangraphs. They might get some difference with Baseball Reference in terms of having so much dependent on defense. But if he's keeping it up, like it's fascinating down ballot conversation in the awards race. And you can ask about like how much you value platoon players versus full-time players because he's barely played against lefties. And that's another reason why his numbers look good. But I mean, filling out the long side of a platoon, like they couldn't find anybody to fill out any side of a platoon for a lot of these outfield spots over the last few years. So yeah, there's no complaints there.
Yeah, if you go to Baseball Savant, like I guess the flip side for those that are not believers in Tristan Peters, if you're trying to look for evidence, you just go to baseballsavant.com, look up Tristan Peters, and the batted ball data is very blue. A lot's red. His fielding, especially in red. His BABA right now is 368. So maybe this does come down a little bit. But even if it does come down, James, as far as like if Tristan Peters regresses, this is a huge win for the White Sox, right? I mean, as you mentioned, nobody really expected anything out of Peters. And the fact that the White Sox could get maybe a 2-WAR or even better season out of Tristan Peters, that's a huge win for the organization.
It's actually up to 375 because of the 2 doubles. Today,
okay. So. Wow. Thank you. So if it comes
but
down
yeah,
from the 375,
I think it's not a case of you talk to them and they're like, we saw that Tristan Peters was this beautiful, brilliant baseball angel, and none of you had the faith, and you'll be smoten for your infidelity. It's more like we have this practice. We're accumulating guys we think can be quality depth. We put them through our programs that we think could help, and ideally a couple of them pop. And you're probably not going to predict exactly which one will to what degree, but they view this as like, yeah, this is good process, but not necessarily like we pulled one over on the whole baseball world. Kind of like the same way Murakami was like, oh, this risk made sense for us. The upside was there. We took our shot in an opportunity where we saw other people might not, and it really worked out great for us and not. And I think that's probably to their encouraging that they kind of just view it as like this. These are the hits that are going to come to the process that they're doing, as opposed to like, all right, we've ran into a homer and now we need to like try to replicate everything we did this one time because we otherwise can't figure out how we like happened upon this insane luck. And now we're just going to sign everyone out of Japan sight unseen because that, or like some other like weird, like not process oriented judgment to take from it. I feel like Peters is in that vein of like, it made sense. We exposed him a few things we thought could help, and we had this pop on us, and not like, well, now we just need to get like find every like underpowered tweener outfielder out there and throw them all into our mix, and that's going to be what our outfield composition is from here on out. So yes, it's a good win. Certainly, if you look at it in a vacuum of like acquisition costs, even though like there's some of these deals that go the other way where there's not a 40-man spot, so you sell for cash, and the Sox will probably get burned on the other end at some point. I can even probably think of one right now, but it's encouraging signs that they're coming upon these wins that that they seemingly couldn't ever come upon for years, and it's something that's kind of more like, oh, we caught this fish in our net, we weren't even like really looking for it type of situation for them.
Thanks for watching the latest Sox Machine video. Please hit the subscribe button and follow us on social media at Sox Machine, and visit our website, soxmachine.com.